Ngorongoro Crater in Tanzania. Its lions are surrounded by vast herds of animals to feed on. It should be paradise for a pride of lions. But something has changed in their world, and after generations of success, the crater lions are facing the biggest challenge of their lives. Even under the best of circumstances, here in Africa, life for lions can be a fierce battle for survival. Everything depends on hard work, strength in numbers, and skill in raising the next generation. In a moving story of triumph and tragedy, we'll see what the future holds for this pride of lions.
Nature is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by annual financial support from viewers like you. And by Canon, providing the power of imaging to express your visions at home and work. And by Ford, maker of Ford Expedition, the full-size sport utility that can seat up to 9 and can tow up to 8,000 pounds. The new Ford Expedition, the only way to get there.
The popular image of the king of the beasts is noble, magnificent, and red in tooth and claw. But behind this facade, each individual has a personal story of drama, intrigue, and tragedy. This is another view of lions, an intimate tale of a pride which has fallen on hard times. In northern Tanzania, volcanic peaks surround the breathtaking Ngorongoro Crater, a basin of 125 square miles. The steep walls of the crater soar 2,000 feet high, creating both a fortress and a prison for the animals that live on its floor. Even in the driest season, the crater has enough water and grazing to nourish large herds of wildebeest and zebra. This giant crucible, brimming with prey all year round, seems to be a paradise for lions. Lions live together in prides in numbers from 5 to 35. By living and hunting together, they double the chances of a successful kill. By working together, lions are the only predators able to take on prey weighing more than 550 pounds. For every kill a lioness makes, there are many more animals that get away. These are the males of the Takitak pride, one of 6 prides that lives here. For 25 years, a record of every lion's life has been kept. It's equivalent to a century of human history. And, like some dynasties, the Takitak pride is in decline. Two lionesses have recently died, so now there are only 6. The researchers call the eldest survivor Wedge. She's 15 years old and has 2 cubs. For generations, the Takitak mothers have passed on this territory to their daughters, and at 3 years of age, Bounce is the youngest. This is Wedge's only surviving daughter. The lionesses have 8 cubs between them, all fathered by these brothers, Hook and Ahab, who took over the pride a year ago. One of the other lionesses is temporarily absent, giving birth to her own family, while for some reason the 6th lioness is not accepted by the others. She's called Nimue and is Wedge's half-sister. Lionesses from other prides would kill her if she trespassed, so she lives alone as an outcast on the borders of the Takitak territory. The mothers are disturbed by the presence of Nimue and move their cubs farther away from her. There must be something abnormal in Nimue's behavior that concerns Wedge and the others. The Takitak Spring and the surrounding marsh are crucial to the survival of the pride, providing some of the best hunting grounds in the crater as well as a refuge for the cubs. They are frequently left alone from a very early age, hiding in a labyrinth of reedy tunnels, maybe for more than a day at a time, while their mothers hunt for food. Now that their numbers have declined, the Takitaks are under more pressure from their neighbors, and they are never far away. The threat comes from larger prides with females hungry for land and males eager for more females. From the Takitak point of view, there are just too many lions in paradise. But for the time being, Wedge and her sisters have hidden their cubs in the reeds and unimpeded are free to hunt along the edge of the marsh. The sisterhood is a formidable hunting team, but there are some animals that are just too big to tackle. The waters of Takitak Marsh also draw in plenty of buffalo, but they are aggressive, strong, and very dangerous. There are no signs of easier prey, and with cubs to look after, Wedge and the others can't afford another day without eating, although attacking buffalo is extremely risky. Two years ago, a Takitak female, anxious to feed her cubs, misjudged her charge and was hooked and killed on a bull's massive horns. So faced by a large and unpredictable herd, the hunting mothers must be cautious and patient. Their luck changes. A few animals leave the safety of the herd. With the experience that comes from age, Wedge takes the initiative. She takes the first dangerous steps alone, knowing that her sisters are not far behind. With the cubs relying on her, Wedge is risking more than just her life. Young Bounce is too frightened to join in, but Wedge's oldest daughter knows what to do. Even the weight of 4 lionesses isn't enough to bring down the buffalo quickly, and the herd could retaliate at any moment. It's an exhausting struggle, but at last, the buffalo weakens. In these highly charged moments, the pride refuses to relinquish the dead buffalo, even when faced by a group of inquisitive bulls. The Talkie-Talks have risked so much and worked so hard for this prize that they still refuse to retreat. Since buffalo often attack lions, it's puzzling that they leave the Talkie-Talks unscathed. The feast attracts an unwanted guest, Nimue, but she wisely keeps her distance. The commotion of the hunt also alerts one of the males, who eagerly joins the meal. Females do most of the hunting in the pride, but the males take dominance at the kill. The females have to wait their turn when the males show up. Some of the lionesses take a break from their meal to rest. Hunting is exhausting work. Although some scavengers try to steal a piece of meat, they are not successful for long. The kill becomes the focus of a great deal of aggression as different factions fight for food. It's the first time that Wedge's daughter has brought her young cubs to a kill, and they have to make their way through the hungry, frustrated jackals. The weakest cub can't keep up and is defenseless in the face of danger. Temporarily abandoned by his tired mother, the weakling with the limp is in peril. However, the tiny cub's own determination and spirit carry him through his very first trial of strength, and he certainly deserves his meal. Now the members of the Talkie-Talk Pride can enjoy the luxury of feeding from such a large carcass for several days and nights, and they won't be seriously hungry again for at least a week. For the moment, life looks easy for the Talkie-Talks. But such a small group with good hunting grounds is open to attack day or night from the bigger, stronger prides who are living right next door. The cold morning light reveals raiders. 2 males from the Laquette pride have invaded the Takitaks territory. It's up to Hook and Ahab to chase them off or lose their lives. The 2 strangers move way too close for comfort. The females take no part in defending their territory against males. The intruders watch Hook and Ahab for any sign of weakness. As they come nearer, Wedge and her daughter's first priority is the safety of their cubs. The weakling is lagging behind again. As the invaders close in, Hook and Ahab have to roar as loud as they can, intimidating them to avoid bloodshed. Wedge's daughter comes to her brother's rescue. Hook and Ahab form a strong, unified front, and the resolve of the Laquettes weakens. As they retreat, Ahab triumphantly scent marks. This time, Hook and Ahab were successful, but how much longer can they keep intruders at bay? The Laquettes and Takitaks are evenly matched in numbers and size, but there's another crater brotherhood which is a more deadly proposition. Known as the Mungays, this alliance consists of 4 big males. Although Ahab and Hook unite in opposition, they don't always act together, and the arrival of young Bounce in heat breaks their victorious camaraderie. When it comes to mating, it's each male for himself. This time, Hook wins, and for the time Bounce remains receptive, he'll follow, hot on her heels. Hook will mate with Bounce often for 2 or 3 days, but to no avail. She's still too young to conceive. It's unlucky for the Takitaks, as they need to build up their numbers to counter the threat from neighboring lions. For the moment, the neighbors are lying low, but they could make a bid for the Taki-Tak's territory at any time. While Hook is busy mating, it's a lonely time for Ahab, as his contact calls go unanswered. Already, the mating couple is exhausted. Totally preoccupied with each other, they don't eat for 3 days. Despite the size of the crater, it's not easy to find a quiet corner. Elephants always have the right of way. And then Hook and Bounce have to contend with buffalo. The tables are now turned, and the herd keeps the pair on the run. Everything seems to get in the way of romance. With a little peace, the mating couple finally can concentrate. Cub mortality is so high that Hook will have to mate hundreds of times over the course of his life to stand a chance of just one of his cubs reaching maturity. Eight weeks pass, and the Taki-Taks are weakened even further. The pressure on the Pride is mounting. The January rains in Ngorongoro Crater are well underway. At first sight, the Taki-Tak Pride seems to be holding on. And the heart of their territory, Taki-Tak Spring, remains in their control. But appearances are deceptive. 6 cubs have disappeared, and even worse, 2 females, including Wedge's adult daughter, are missing. Old Wedge and her 2 cubs, plus young Bounce, are present. And fortunately, the missing female who left to give birth has returned to the pride with her 3 cubs. She's called TK. Hook and Ahab are still in command, but with 2 lionesses missing, presumed dead, the pride is now reduced to 3 adult females. And for Bounce and the others, still lurking on the horizon, Nemue, the outcast. Abnormal behavior may be the reason for her rejection, and it could have been caused by disease or inbreeding, the origin of which can be traced to flies. This year, the flies are just an irritation, but in 1962, unusually long and heavy rains created a lethal plague of blood-sucking flies. Lions died, unable to hunt and covered in sores. The entire crater population crashed, and only 7 females and 1 male survived. Today, most of the lions in the crater are descended from those 7, and inbreeding may be a factor in the decline of the Takitak dynasty. To regain their former glory, the Takitaks must build up their numbers. The only way to achieve this is by raising female cubs to adulthood, which will take at least 18 months. The odds are against them. On average, 4 out of 5 cubs die before they are 1 year old. At least while they retain their greatest asset, the Takitak spring, hunting is no problem. Wedge and Bounce peer from the ridge, while TK takes the first step. Zebra are sharp-eyed, so the 3 must work in close and careful harmony. TK protects the kill for her cubs, guarding it jealously from a few kites. The three Taki-Taks work together to make this kill. If they lived alone, each could feed herself. But the value of female cooperation in the crater is twofold: the ability to take down big prey, plus extra protection and security for their young. If the Taki-Taks remain united, maybe this time Wedge will be successful in raising her cubs to maturity. But the Taki-Taks are fighting against time, and an ominous feeling hangs in the air. Hook and Ahab must keep control of the pride for at least 18 months, when the cubs will be old enough to defend themselves against other male lions. But lion cubs are also killed by hyenas, owls, eagles, jackals, pythons, buffalo, and disease. Wedge lost her only daughter, who actually made it to adulthood at the beginning of the rains. After 11 years of breeding and many litters, her efforts at raising cubs to maturity have been futile. Wedge's only hope now lies with these two cubs. It's even possible that the Taki-Taks have an even more insidious enemy. Maybe the demise of the pride has something to do with Nimue. The future for the Taki-Tak pride looks bleak, but events are about to take a turn for the worse. The Taki-Tak boundaries are breached. The Mungay males have made their move. Ahab is in retreat and he's fatally injured. The 4 Mungay males have killed Ahab's brother Hook. Now, for the first time in his life, Ahab is truly alone. Male lions in small coalitions have short, violent lives. With the Mungay males in pursuit, there's nowhere for Ahab to go. His reign over the Taki-Taks was brief, just a year. Now, his time has passed. The Mungay males already control 4 of the 6 crater prides. Having broken the opposition of the 5th, they return to their other haunts. And Ahab faces an ignominious death. A fallen monarch of the plains. For the pride in peril, the loss of their male protectors is bad enough. But after sunset, their fortunes plummet. In the morning, Wedge and TK call for their 5 cubs. Once a sanctuary, the reeds this time failed to protect the cubs, and something killed them in the dead of night. The Mungay males, the obvious suspects, were absent. So could the culprit be Nimue? If she is a cub killer, it could explain why she's not accepted by the Taki-Tak females. The crook in her tail may be the sign of inbreeding and the cause of her abnormal behavior. As she settles down too close, Bounce goes on the offensive. It looks like the final rejection for Nimue. Wedge is now too old to have more cubs, so this loss is final and bitter. Usually, lionesses give up looking for lost cubs after a few days, but Wedge is still searching for them 3 weeks after their disappearance. Every day simply confirms that they are gone for good. As she walks around Takitak Spring, visiting the cubs' former favorite hiding places, she looks older and more frail, but still perseveres in her hopeless quest. As the days pass, life returns to normal for Bounce and TK, but they now have to hunt without the benefit of Wedge's experience. TK stalks forward on her own. TK has been very lucky to escape without serious injury. A day later, the final tragedy unfolds out on the plains. Wedge has died. The Takitak pride has lost its most experienced lioness. The Takitak dynasty has virtually collapsed. If it was hard for the pride to rear cubs before, it will be even more difficult now that there are just 2 lionesses alive. For Bounce and TK, life still goes on. 4 weeks after losing her cubs, TK comes into heat, and in the absence of any males, she flirts with Bounce, who's a little unsure of what's expected of her. Lions are attracted to pungent odors, and rolling in elephant dung gives Bounce an extra special scent. Hook and Ahab are dead, and the Mungays are absent, so TK advertises her presence widely. Her calls attract one of the Mungay males, but at their first meeting, she has to make sure he knows she's submissive, or he might kill her. TK and Bounce are fighting a losing battle. Even with luck on their side, they need at least 3 years to raise enough cubs to build up their numbers. With the threat from the other prides in the crater, 3 years is just too long. And they still have to contend with Nimue. The days of glory for the Takitaks are over. Sadly, it seems inevitable that Bounce and TK will be reduced to a poor living in the no man's land between territories. Eventually, another dynasty will rise, and Takitak Spring will echo to the calls of a new, stronger pride of lions.
To find out more about nature, visit us on the PBS homepage at the address on your screen. Nature is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by annual financial support from viewers like you. And by Canon, providing the power of imaging to express your visions at home and work. And by Ford, maker of the 1997 Taurus. A unique combination of American heritage and innovation makes Taurus an automobile its owners love to talk about. Taurus by Ford.
A home video cassette of Crater Lions is available for $19.95 plus shipping. To order, call 1-800-336-1917 or write to the address on your screen.
This is PBS. Welcome to Point Reyes National Seashore. I'm George Page. The reason I'm drawn to nature is because it's a very spiritual thing. As far as a favorite animal, I prefer the tufted puffin. What do I like about the show Nature? Just the wonderful information that's conveyed. I think nature sort of stands alone. The quality of the natural history of the show Nature is just excellent.